Hello, welcome to yet another episode where I shall be looking at the preparation for the grade 9 mathematics paper 2, okay, for this end of year. So paper that I will use is a 75 mark paper for 2 hours. Now, someone will ask, which topics can we expect in paper 2? So topics to do with the geometry of straight lines, okay? We also have the geometry of 2D shapes. And then under the geometry of 2D shapes is, we can talk about similarity and congruence. Okay. And then from there, we can have our measurements. But before the measurements, we can have the transformation geometry. Okay, transformation geometry. And then we can have our measurements, which measurements could have perimeter. We have area, we have surface area, and then we have the volume. So all those topics can be expected within paper 2. Okay, so if we use this paper, they're telling us to answer all the questions on separate answer pages. Answer 4.4.2 on the annexure provided. We need to number the way the questions are numbered. Show all your workings and write neatly and all of that. Okay. So we have 10 multiple choice questions. We must choose the correct one. So 1.1, which statement is true about the figure? Okay, number 1, they're telling us that A1 is the same as B1. That is correct because these will be corresponding angles. So that is correct. When you look at A1 and A3, yes, it is correct, but then the reason is wrong. Okay, A1 and A3, vertically opposite, it's also correct, and the reason is correct. A1 and A2 is 180 co-interior. No, the reason is wrong. So which statement is true about the figure below? So what I'm seeing two values. We have A, we have B. But then we don't have arrows by these lines, okay, to show us that the lines are parallel, okay? We're not told. So I'll go with option C to be the best. A1 is A3 because of vertically opposite, okay? Okay. 1.2, complete. If ABC is equilateral, meaning that this is a 16, that is a 16, this is also 60, meaning that C1 must be 120. The one the size of C1, which is 120. So a quadrilateral is a four-sided polygon, okay? Quad means four. Then which of the following is true about diagonals of a kite? So if we have a kite, we know that the adjacent sides are equal, so diagonals will intersect at a 90. And then it's only one diagonal, the shorter diagonal, that is divided into two for bisected. Diagonals are equal, it's wrong. Diagonals bisect each other, nope. To bisect is like to divide each other. It's not true, it's just one that is divided. The longer diagonal bisects the shorter diagonal at 90. The shorter diagonal bisects the longer, so C is the best option. Okay, this longer one bisects. It divides this into two. Then which of the following is not a property of congruency? So with congruency, we know that we're dealing with identical shapes, okay? So with identical shapes, we have side, 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 which is okay. Side, angle, side, which is fine. Angle, angle, side, which is also correct. Angle, angle is a property of similarity. Okay. 1.6. If we reflect 4.2 in the y-axis, we know that a reflection in the y-axis changes the sign of the x, meaning that it should be a -4 and a 2, which is A. And then the rule xy, x minus 3y plus 1 means that the point xy is, we are moving it 3 units to the left and then 1 unit up. Okay. Translated 3 units to the right, nope. Translated 1 unit to the left, nope. 1 unit to the right, no. 3 units to the left, then 1 unit up. And then 1.8, in this sketch, the circle has a radius of 4. What is the area in centimeters squared of the shaded part? So we know that this shaded part is half of the circle, meaning that the area of half circle is a half pi radius squared, which is a half pi. The radius is 4, you square that. So pi, this is 16 over 2, which gives us 8 pi. Option B becomes the best answer. 1.9, the volume of the cube, whose height is 4. So we know that the height is the same as the length and then the width, so that all the sides will be basically the same. So volume is the same as L cubed. So 4 cubed gives us 64, which is option B. Then 1.10, they want us to get the surface area of the square prism. So still, even with a square, all the sides are the same. Okay. So if we can get the area of one face, it's going to be 10 by 10, which gives us 100 centimeters squared. Then how many faces do we have? We have 6 faces. So it's 6 times 100, which becomes 600 centimeters squared. So option D becomes the best option. Question number 2. Calculate, while giving reasons, the sizes of x, y, and z. So we can start with x, because we know that x is just straightforward. We can use the 70 and the x and say that x is 70 degrees. We can say that these are vertically opposite angles. Or you can look at x and the 110, then you tell us the adjacent supplementary. We shall get the 70 as well. Then I'm going to say that my y, if this is a 70, even this one must be a 70. So we're going to say that y is a 70. Those are corresponding angles because AB is parallel to CD. Then for us to get Z, Z and 110 must also be corresponding. Z is going to be 110, corresponding angles because the lines are parallel. Okay, so somebody could also look at adjacent supplementary, which is also okay. 2.2, if ABE is 65, all of this, and DCF is a 32, calculate the size of EBC, E, B, and C, which means they want the size of this angle. So from what I'm seeing, we're creating some sort of F. Okay, if we look at this, meaning that the size of this angle should be the same as the size of that angle. So this angle EBC is going to be a 32. Corresponding angles because EB is parallel to DA. Then CAB, this angle here. So let's combine this top angle and this one, and then we use co-interior. So 65 plus A should give us 180 co-interior angles. EB is parallel to DA, meaning that A is going to be 180 minus 65. That should be 115 degrees. Lastly, they want us to get FCA. FCA, this angle down here. Okay, so how do we get this? We can use the 32 and then this so that they are adjacent. Mean that C is gonna be saying FCA. It's gonna be 180 minus 32. Adjacent supplementary angles. What do we get? That's a 148. Question 3. In the triangle EDF, F is produced to C. These two sides are equal, and then we have this angle, which is 125. Follow the sequence of steps to complete. So we know that D1 and D2 should be equivalent to 180. Reason, adjacent supplementary angles, or you can tell us that angles in a line. So if that is true, and we know that D2 is 125, what is the size of D1? So D1 is going to be a 55. Then we know that D1 and D and F, this angle and this angle are the same because it's an isosceles triangle. So the reason for isosceles is angles that are opposite, equal sides. Okay, so if this is a 55, this is also a 55. We know that E plus D1 plus F should give us 180. Those are the sum of angles in a triangle. So meaning that this angle E, 55 and 55 gives us 110, meaning that this E should be just a 70. Okay, so that is correct. 3.2, we're given a quadrilateral with the angles in terms of X. They want us to get the value of X. So we know that angles in a quadrilateral must add up to 360 degrees. So we have 8x plus 4 plus x minus 4, 4x plus 4, and then 5x minus 4 should give us 360 degrees. So 8x plus 1, that's 9x, 13x, 18x. This 4 cancels that. This 4 cancels that. So 18x is equal to 360. Divide by 18 by 18. Meaning that x should be a 20 degree. Then 3.3, NMPO is a kite with NM the same as PM. NO is the same as PO, and then diagonal MO bisects NOP and NMP. Determine the values of X and Y. Okay, so what we're seeing here is that this is an identical shape. So MO is like a line of symmetry. Okay, what does that mean? It means that this angle X needs to be 100. Okay, so it's going to be the opposite angle of a kite. If this is 100, this must also be 100. Then for us to get the Y, we know that O1 is also 35 now, because these two triangles have to be congruent because they have the same sides, and then there's something that's common. So we're getting 100, so Y plus 100 plus 35 should give us 180 degrees angles in a triangle. So 180 minus 135, we get 45 degrees. 3.4. Diagram below. AB is the same as AC. BD is the same as CD. They want us to prove that this triangle is congruent to this. So we're saying that AD is the same as AD. The reason is common. AB is the same as AC. That is given. Then BD is CD given. Okay. Therefore, these two triangles are congruent because we're looking at side. 3.5. In the triangle PQR, this line is parallel to that. Prove that triangle PST is similar to PQR. Okay, so this and this should be the same. Okay, this angle and that angle should be the same, and then P is common. So it's saying S1 is the same as Q. Those are corresponding angles. ST is parallel to QR. Then T1 is equal to R. ST is parallel to QR. And then we're saying P is the same as P. And then that is common. Therefore, PST is similar to PQR because of angles. Okay. Now, for as long as we have just three statements that compare the two triangles, that's all we need. And then we can just draw the conclusion. Now, question 4. Consider the figure below. What type of transformation takes place between these two? So you can see that these are facing each other, and Y is a symmetry line, which is like a mirror line. So this is going to be a reflection about the Y-axis. So whenever you talk about a reflection, be specific, either X or Y. So in this case, it's the Y-axis. Then can we describe the transformation from this to that? So you translate the object 2 units to the right. Okay, this plus is 2 units to the right. And then 1 unit down. Then 4.3, figure below shows point A, which is here. Give the coordinates of the image that is reflected about Y is equal to X. Now, if this point is a -4 and a -1, all you have to do is flip this. So that's a -1 and a -4, which is here. Alternatively, count how many blocks. So it's 1.5. So this is a half, and then that is 1. So that is A prime. Oh, they want the coordinates. Sorry. So the coordinates are -1 and -4. Then consider this figure below. Can we give the coordinates of A, B, C? So how do we read the coordinates? So we know that A, take the X values here. Okay, this line is X3. And then Y is a 4. Then look at B. At this point of B, X is 1, Y is a 3. And then C, X is 4, Y is 1. Then they want us to translate 5 units to the left and 3 units down. So I'm just going to draw it here, okay? So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3. So this is A prime. For B, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So it's somewhere there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So that's a C prime. And then you can connect. Okay, so that is how the image would have been drawn or sketched. Question 5, calculate the area of the square having size 8. So I know that area is going to be length times length or side times side. So that's going to be 8 times 8, 64 centimeters squared. And then they're telling us that the perimeter of a rectangle is 46. The length is this, and then the width is this. They want us to get the size of X. So we know that the perimeter is length plus the width plus the length plus the width. Okay, so I'm going to equate this to a 46. If our length is 2x plus 5, and then the width is x plus 6, plus 2x plus 5, plus x plus 6, becomes a 46. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 6x. 5 and 6 is 11. The 11, which is 22, is equal to 46. Let's move the 22 that side, which becomes a 24. Divide both sides by 6. X is 4. Then they want us to get the area. Now, for us to get the area, replace 4 with the x here. That it is 2 times 4 is 8 plus 5. That's 13. And then 4 plus 6, that's a 10. So area is going to be length times width, 13 times 10, which is 130 centimeters squared. Then 5.3, they're telling us that the circumference of a circle is 52 centimeters. Calculate the area of the circle. So one thing we know about a circle is that the perimeter of a circle is what we call the circumference. Okay, meaning that circumference is 2 pi radius. Okay, what we need to find is the radius first because area is going to be pi radius squared. So 5/2 is twice pi multiplied by the radius, divide both sides by 2 pi. So 52 over 2 pi is r, meaning that our radius is 26 over pi. Okay, or you can just give it as a decimal, there's no problem. We know that area is pi radius squared, meaning that it's pi. Our radius is going to be now 26 over pi squared. Okay, so if I punch that into my calculator, let me use the decimals just to be on a safe side, okay? What is 26 divided by pi? It gives me 8.28. That's my radius, so meaning that I'm going to replace it here. So pi multiplied by 8.28 squared. Substitute that or punch that into the calculator. Okay, that gives me 215.38, that is centimeters squared. So that's what the question was technically looking for. Then question 6. Consider a rectangular box. They want us to get the total surface area. So the formula for the surface area is going to be twice length breadth, twice length height, plus twice breadth height. So it's going to be 2 times 8 times 4, because remember the length and the breadth, which is the bottom side, is the same as the top side. Then the length and height, this front face, is the same as this back face here. And then the breadth and height, this side face is the same as that other side face. That's why we're multiplying by 2. 2, 8, and 2. 2, 4, and 2. So 64 plus 32 plus 16. Okay, so it's going to be 80 plus 32, which is 112 meters squared. Then 6.2, they're telling us that the resort manager wants to paint the inside of a rectangular swimming pool, which is 8 meters long, 6 meters wide, and then 2 meters deep. What is the total surface area of the swimming pool to be painted? So, okay, they're gonna paint even the bottom, né? Meaning that instead of us having twice length and breadth, plus twice length and height, twice breadth and height. So the bottom part, the length and the breadth is just gonna be one side, which is gonna be 8 times 6, 2 times 8 times 2, 2 times 6 times 2. 48 plus 32 plus 24. When I add this, I'll still have an 18 plus 24, which is 104 meters squared. 6.2.2, if one bucket of paint covers 26 meters squared, how many buckets will be needed? So we're going to have 104 divided by 26. Okay, when I divide this, 104 divided by 26, it gives me exactly 4 buckets. Okay, so 4 buckets will be enough to do the job. All right, then 6.3, we have the volume as 27,000. The side is x, calculate the side. So we know that volume of a cube is L and L and L, which is L cubed. Then if I replace the volume with the 27,000, and then I have to find the cube root on either side, which is gonna be 30 meters. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this paper. And I wish you guys the best as you prepare, as you revise. Please go ahead, show the paper's flames, and make sure that we pass to the next grade.